So, I don't know what's going on with me this morning, but last night I went to bed feeling kind of sick. I was kind of cold and felt like maybe I had a fever, but slept a good 8 hours. Woke up, felt a little better. My throats were a little bit raw, but no fever. COVID tested negative. Whole body's kind of sore, like my especially my back and my hamstrings. Not sure what that's all about. Um, I have a massage appointment in about half an hour. I'm going to leave here in about 10 minutes. But I just wanted to come on here and, you know, not making excuses, but I was working on the video on my weekly vlog last night and having some trouble with the video and getting sound. I don't know why, like I import the video and then there's no sound. And I don't know what's going on with that, but I did get some good footage of my last gig with the Heatherlys, and so I'm excited to share that with you if I can get the sound to work. That would be awesome. It was a really dark video too, so I'm trying to lighten it up and make it a little more easy to watch. So yeah, that's what's going on. Hopefully I will get this weekly vlog up by later today, especially after my massage. I'll start to feel a little bit better, a little bit loosened up. And some other things I'm preparing for later this week. So, and as you can see, I got some boxes here. I got some new gear that I will be installing in the studio. So I'm excited for that too. But lots of work, lots of stuff coming up. All right, guys. Yeah.
Welcome to vlog number 6. I know this particular episode has been on a delay, so sorry for that, but it's been kind of a busy week with some obstacles in my way. Ended up getting like a little cold past couple of days, so I've been dealing with that. So my voice is a little bit raw, my throat's a little bit raw. So I don't know how long I'm going to last on here, but I do have some water with me here just in case I dry out. But yeah, kind of a headache and no fever, COVID negative. It just kind of hurts when I swallow a little bit if I don't keep drinking fluids and eating food and that kind of thing. Anyway, enough about me and my health problems. Yeah, so I've been busy in here in the studio setting up the Behringer P16 personal monitor system and making it work with my Apollo interface. And that's no easy task, as I have found out. I did buy all the right items, which I was pleasantly surprised. In fact, I might be able to return one or two things at the end of all this. I'm still sort of in the thick of it, still trying to make it work with Logic. So I'm able to, right now I'm able to get the microphones to play through the monitor systems, but haven't yet figured out how to get, like if I was to use a MIDI keyboard or playback through Logic, how will that work? So if any of you have any insight into that, please feel free to comment below, write in, or, shoot me a message or whatever. So been dealing with that quite a bit, especially yesterday was dedicated entirely to that. What else? Let's see. Last weekend was the CMAs, which I did not perform at or attend. However, I did play a few gigs over the weekend that were unrelated to the CMAs, at least to my knowledge. I filled in for someone else another drummer named Michael Green, and played with the Aly Cutter band at this place. It's like a upscale restaurant called Hall's Chop House, which is a somewhat new restaurant bar on the West End area of Nashville, and kind of a suit and tie affair there. You should have seen the description of the attire. It was quite specific. It was highly unusual. Make sure you don't wear a white shirt, it said. Okay. The nice part about it was that there was a house kit with cymbals and everything was there. I was told only to bring drumsticks. And so I was happy to do that and went in there. Really, I played mostly brushes and hot rods. In fact, didn't use drumsticks at all during the course of the night. But I did get some video of that show just through my phone. Yeah, so it was great to play with Aly again. Did a lot of BGVs with her, as I typically do. Cover songs. We got to choose some songs that you don't typically play on the Broadway circuit, so that was a lot of fun. Great seeing the band again. Mark on guitar. There was a sub bass player. Carter is his name, and he's awesome and always good to see him as well. So it was just a lot of fun. A songwriter that I had met the week prior asked me if I was playing somewhere, and so I texted him the details, and he showed up and he sat at the bar and he listened, and we got to chat a little bit on the breaks. So that was a good fun evening. Made some money, and it was very, very low volume, so not a lot of, energy needed to be output, as it were. Sort of treated it like a jazz gig, only not playing jazz. Just, playing rock, standard, typical cover band stuff, but just at a lower dynamic level, just because the venue requires that. So, it was a lot of fun. The following day, Saturday, I played another gig with a different group. This is a husband and wife team. They're called the Heatherlys, Eric Heatherly and his wife Lindsay. And they have sort of a rockabilly country. It's sort of like Sun Records meets the Grand Ole Opry, is the way they described it on their website. And so they had sent me a huge Dropbox folder full of their songs, and I charted everything out that I needed to, 11 or 12 songs, I think it was, and we were playing at the Wilson County Fair Saturday evening. Unfortunately, there was some big contest or raffle giveaway type of prize event that they held right before all the music played. So all these people were there, I'm told. And then once the contest was over, everybody sort of scattered and there was hardly anybody left. So we didn't have a huge audience to play for. And the other thing I might mention is that by the time we played, we were the headlining act. By the time we were playing, there were two bands ahead of us. We were quite a bit in the dark. So I did get video footage of that show as well, but I had to kind of brighten it up and make it look a little bit more presentable. It was great to play with the Heatherlys. I love their music. I love their style. It's got like a retro thing. It's got like some swing elements to it, and just really good songs, good songwriting. Um, just a pleasure. It was a pleasure to work with them. They're super pro, and I do hope to get to work with them again in the near future. I think they've got some things cooking up, so maybe that would be the case. I don't know if there's some road things that they have. In any case, yeah, it was great to meet them in person. Funny enough, like they got a hold of me through my website. They were a few weeks prior. They were in Las Vegas and they were looking for a drummer, kind of like a last minute fill in because I guess something happened to their planned drummer. And Lindsay said that she went on the internet and typed in hashtag Las Vegas drummer, and I popped up. Of course, I lived in Las Vegas for 8 years, so that makes some sense. However, it's not something I set out to do to be found under the hashtag Las Vegas drummer, but nonetheless, they found me. They stumbled upon me and my website, so they wrote to me through that and got in touch. And so, yeah, long story short, they ended up hiring me on this other gig at here in Nashville at this Wilson County Fair, which was great because I live in Wilson County, so it was very, very close to home, and made for a nice evening. Again, made some money, had some fun, made some connections, played some great music, and was home before like 10 p.m., which is always awesome in my book. Let's see. Prior to that, my family and we took a trip to Atlanta, and the purpose of the trip was a sort of a mini vacation, sort of just get out of town kind of thing. But also, as you may know, I'm a diehard New York Mets fan, baseball, and the Mets were playing the Braves, so we went down to see the Mets play the Braves. Of course, the Mets are having a horrible year this year, and they're just getting crushed. And of course, they got crushed by the first place Braves. So that was kind of rough dealing with that in their stadium as the as visitors to the home crowd there. But we made it fun. I ended up hanging out with a friend of mine, Tony DeSere, and his son. He brought his son, and his son and my son got to meet for the first time, and they were fast friends, and it was just a lot of fun catching up and just watching the ball game, and just kind of yucking it up for a couple days. So very, very, very fun and worthwhile. Let's see. So fast forward again. Got called to do a morning session, an actual real live recording session with live people all together, recording together. Wow, what a concept. It seems like it's so rare these days. It's not really that rare these days, but it's rare that I get calls for that kind of thing. I really hope to add to that and to make it more often that I get those types of calls. That's really my ultimate goal. I love playing sessions and collaborating with people in the room with me. I also love recording here at home, but it's just a different thing. It's a different workflow. It's a different vibe. And I could kind of break that down for you guys. But yeah, it was great to do this session with a great rhythm section. My friend David Abdo, bass player, recommended me for the session, so thank you, David. And it was we were recording 2 songs, and I had this great Ludwig kit to play on. I think it's a 70s Ludwig, and took a tiny bit of video just of the studio itself. Corey, the studio owner, was also the engineer on the project, and it was great to meet him. And the songwriter and the artist was Danny Strymer. I think I'm saying his name right. Strymer. Um, Danny Strummer. I think it's Strymer. Really nice guy, really talented songwriter. Excuse me. See, my voice is breaking up there. And this is like the most talking I've done in a few days. Anyway, we recorded a couple of takes of each song, and it went down pretty fast, all things considered, especially since Corey was, it was his first time tracking a live rhythm section in that space, I think. So he was a little bit, I wouldn't say nervous or on edge or anything, but just like, I think he was just kind of wondering how it would go, and he was, hoping for it to be successful, which it very much was. Yeah. So my only sort of, I guess, not complaint, or I just, as a comment, was the thing that made it the hardest for me was the fact that he had these big giant baffles in front of the drums, which of course, he's trying to create isolation, from the drums to the other acoustic instruments. We were recording live piano in the same room on the other side of the room. And but the only thing was, because they were so tall, these baffles were so tall, I couldn't actually see any of the other musicians. Well, that's not true. I could see Danny to my left, like on my hi-hat side, which was helpful, but I couldn't see Dave or Jody on piano. So, and I just love eye contact while I'm playing, especially like drums and bass. It's always nice to have that sort of just, whatever you're playing, you just look up, and there's an energy there. And it's not like we have to stare into each other's eyes or anything like that, but just like, once in a while, just a glance, and like your eyes might meet, and just like, you might smile, you might, communicate something somehow, just physically, either with your head, with your eyes, with your body language. And so when you can't see the people you're playing with, it can be a little bit difficult. And I imagine it's the same for them too, especially if they tend to watch the drummer for like certain, because drumming is such a physical thing. It's very easy to see the drummer. Like if you imagine you're playing like the end of the song and it retards, it's easy to see the drums play, bum bum bum, and that way, So just little things like that can be made a little bit more difficult when you can't see each other, which was the case in this session. But nonetheless, it was, we didn't have any problems. It was just something that had crossed my mind while I was there. But I totally understand why, the baffles were there, and probably it made the recording a lot cleaner, especially when it comes down to mixing and that sort of process. So, but yeah, let's see. I brought my cymbals, but I didn't. I brought some snare drums, but I didn't use any of them. He had a nice, like a '60s Supraphonic, 5-inch Supraphonic snare drum. So that was perfect. I didn't have to. I tuned it up a little bit, but not much. Yeah. So the only thing I brought that was sort of like, my thing was like, I brought my cans that I've been using, those GK-Ultraphones that I've been using here at home to track drums with. I just find that the isolation is just so awesome so I can hear the drums through the mics and the rest of the music, for that matter, without hearing the ambient drum sound coming bleeding through the headphones. Like I used to wear these. These are the Audio Technicas, which are great headphones. I love these, but they're a little bit more open. They're not as closed off, so they don't block as much of the sound of the drums as do the Ultraphones, the GK-Ultraphones. So drummers, if you're looking for that sweet isolation, and that knocking the dB level way down from your drums, especially if you're playing drums in a small room or a small space, check out the GK-Ultraphones. I think the only place that you can get them is through their website, so just do a Google search on them and it should pop up. They're not cheap, mind you. And I did do a video real quick, just kind of like a quick gear review when I first got those headphones, maybe like after the first day or two of owning them, which maybe I'll do another video though, just because I've had them now for probably at least 6 months, I'd say. Yeah, longer than that, probably like 8 months now. So yeah, they're awesome. And like I said, if you're playing in a small space, really, they'll really help out with not only like blocking the leakage of the drums out. I should say, they also prevent the click from bleeding into the overhead mics. If you tend to listen to the click, if you have a loud click going through your headphones, sometimes you can hear them through these. You can hear the click if you stop playing, or if you're like at the end of the song, you let the cymbals ring out and you don't make any noise. At the very, very end, you might hear the click bleeding through the headphones, through the open mics. That's not ever going to be the case with these Ultraphones. So, highly recommend those. And in this way, with the Ultraphones, you can not only you're blocking out the ambient sound of the drums in the room, but you're able to hear the drums more clearly through the mics. So you're actually hearing your drum sound through the mics much better, much more clearly. And it gives you a better idea of how your drums are going to sound on playback when you go and you listen back to it. So just some helpful hints there, just through the experience that I've had with using those. You might say, well, I use my in-ears recording, and sure, that's definitely an option. My only problem with that is that, when you're in the studio, sometimes, you can hit a wrong button, or something comes unplugged, and all of a sudden you might just get slammed with some white noise, or just some weird digital feedback of some kind. Something just might blow up in your ears. And when you have headphones on, it is so much easier in a panic when that happens to just boom and just swipe them off your head really quickly, and so that you don't hurt your ears. You can't do that with in-ears, especially if the in-ears are form-fitted, if they're fitted to your ears like mine are. I mean, in order for me to get them out, I have to purposely get in there and pull them out. And I could only imagine if that were to happen using in-ears, like if something exploded, while I'm using in-ears. Number one, I may not be able to get them out in time and really do some hearing damage to my ears. That would be horrible. But also, in the panic of trying to get them out of my ears, I might actually break them. So those are two really good reasons not to use in-ears in the studio. I just, anything I can do to protect myself, from hearing loss is a huge priority in my book. So yeah, just some food for thought there. Uh, let's see. I'm hoping we're still recording here. I'm recording into the computer for the first time, just trying to again make workflow a little bit easier. Um, just to upload these videos and just get these done as fast as possible. So we're doing well here, I think. Let me just kind of mouse over and make sure. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay. We're at 23 minutes. Woo! Getting there. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of it for now. I've been booking a lot of shows. I've been on the phone a lot, just reconnecting with some people, from my recent past and some other people from my very distant past. Wow, an old acquaintance of mine from my days on cruise ships actually wrote to me from England today. I got on LinkedIn, and don't ask me. I mean, I got on LinkedIn, and I'm not even sure why I got on LinkedIn. That's not entirely true. I got on LinkedIn because I wanted to look at the possibility of maybe booking my Miles Davis tribute band called Milestones, and look at booking, see if there's a possibility of connecting with music directors, band directors, both at high schools, colleges, universities, churches, even, and just trying to make connections on LinkedIn for those types of people in those positions who might want to hire the band. So initially, that was my reason for getting on LinkedIn and creating an account. I'm not a huge fan of LinkedIn. I'm a musician. What am I going to do on LinkedIn? I'm not a 9-to-5er. I'm not looking for data entry jobs or anything else for that matter, day job type deals. But anyway, so this old friend of mine from London added me. I accepted him, of course, and he wrote to me. And I have yet to write him back, but I'm going to, and I'm excited to just kind of reconnect with him after all these years. He wrote to me and said, it's been 22 years. Holy cow. So, yeah, I forget the reason for me telling you that, but yeah. So I've just been booking shows and uh, just trying to look at the calendar and just fill up the calendar with some dates. Starting in mid July, I'll be back from where my family and I are taking another vacation, a longer vacation this time, down to Mexico. I'm not going to say exactly when because it's kind of private, but yeah. So we'll be back by mid July, and I'll be looking to fill the calendar big time. It'll be the summer, in the thick of the dead dog days of summer, as it were, and I'm looking to fill up my calendar with dates of all kinds. I'm looking for artist dates. I'm looking for downtown dates down on Broadway with the right people, with the right band, with the right situation, with the right time slot. So I do have some sort of specifications there. I'm not just going to take anything. As well as, maybe a few wedding corporate type events if they come along. I don't have any right now, but I'm not opposed to it as long as it's not like every week like I used to do. I can't do that anymore. I can't get locked into that anymore. I have to stay available to play more creative artist type session stuff if it comes up. I just want to be available, and it's so much harder to sub out wedding gigs and that kind of thing because typically there's like medleys and shows, and there's a lot more involved musically, moving pieces. than just your standard bar gig or artist gig. Even some of the artist gigs, so yeah, really looking forward to working with a whole mix and whole diverse mix of artists and different shows on different levels. Going to be trying my hand again at playing with Aly Cutter and the circuit that she works at downtown on the V drums, because pretty much all of the bars, as far as I know, that she's working at right now are the bars with the V drums. They're owned by a certain company, and that company had made the decision all across the board to implement V drums and plugging in direct for all the instruments, bass, guitar, everything. So there's no amps on stage. There's literally there's no stage volume, none. Um, so you know, talked to Aly about it and assured her that I'm going to give this another go and kind of change my approach for playing V drums so I don't hurt my hands like I was kind of doing the last time I tried this back in March. So I'm going into it with more of a approach like I'm going to be playing softer. Almost as if I'm playing a jazz gig, or like, for instance, I was playing that bar restaurant gig over the weekend and we had to play soft. And so I'm using much smaller motions, because really, the sound doesn't change if I play it like this or if I play it like this, right? If I play the backbeat like this or if I play it like this, the sound does not change. So it's really all in my head. So if I tell myself, and if I'm diligent about reminding myself, don't play these drums like big rock drums. See, the trick is, when you're getting the feedback from the drums themselves, the drums sound big, right? It's a digital drum kit. You can make them sound in all sorts of ways, but most of the kits that you'd use are rock style drum kits, and so you're getting this big, like, like this big sort of, verby, like, almost gated type of sounds, very compressed sounds. And so it tricks the brain into thinking, oh, I need to play these hard to make it match the sound that I'm getting from these drums. But no, it's not really the case. I'm gonna be super diligent with not falling into that so that I don't hurt my hands. And I don't think it's so much the drums themselves. I mean, it is, because it's like, if you lay into the rims, if you play these things like real drums, you will hurt yourself. But I think it has a lot to do with the cymbals as well. The cymbals are those rubber discs, and they don't give a lot, and they just don't feel like normal cymbals at all. So so you can't play them like you play normal cymbals. So it's just a whole thing that I'm gonna try to do, and hopefully succeed at, because I want to play with Aly so much, and I love what she does, and I love how she runs the band, and she works a lot, and they make money, and she treats us well. So that's very, very important to me. So yeah, that's what's going on. Before I sign off, don't forget to like and subscribe. Please check out, if you're feeling super generous and you want to buy me a coffee, or just or if you want to check out some of the content that I've created on patreon.com/Brian Zach. I have over 120 videos and pieces of content, transcriptions, interviews, things, pieces of advice, and just all kinds of stuff for navigating the music business as a freelance drummer, and how I go about learning music, recording, a lot of jazz playing, a lot, comping, soloing, double bass stuff that a lot of people don't talk about. Playing with brushes, playing a ballad, how to sit in at a jam session, like etiquette, that kind of thing. There's all these videos about all of this stuff on my Patreon. So go to patreon.com/BrianZach and check that out. If you're feeling like you want to learn something from me, and if you do subscribe, thank you. And if there's something that you're not seeing that you're curious about, then all you have to do is just tell me, and I'll make the content. So there's that. If you want to study with me privately, whether it's in person here, maybe you live in Nashville or close by, or maybe you're visiting Nashville for a couple days or whatever, you're coming in from out of town, book a lesson with me. You can go to my site, brianzach.com, or you can just write to me in the comments, and I'll see it, and I'll get back to you. Or if you're not in town, I do online lessons through video, chat, Zoom, FaceTime, that sort of thing. So I've done lots of that all the time. And if you want to work on your hands, your technique, you want to work on you want to work on reading, sight reading, soloing in any context, whether it's jazz, rock, just coming up with ideas and developing a motif when you're playing, and maybe you have an open drum solo and you're scared, you're not scared, but just, you get stressed out about what to play. You feel like you're going to run out of ideas too quickly. These are all things that I really, can show you the way, and there is a good way to go about these kinds of things, and so to make you way, way more comfortable when it comes time to solo, or just the stress of reading a chart and that sort of thing. Making Nashville number charts, that's another thing that I emphasize quite a bit in my lessons. And as well, just the fundamentals, just hand technique, both match grip and traditional grip. I specialize in that as well. So lots to learn there. And so just hit me up for drum lessons if you guys are into it. I really, really appreciate it. I love to teach, and I love to give back, and it makes me happy. So I want you to succeed as well. So yeah, that's what's going on. I think I'm going to sign off now. Thank you for joining me here, and I will see you on the next vlog or the next video that I make. So take care out there, and be safe, and enjoy the summer. I hope it's going well for you. All right, guys, keep rocking. See you later.